Welcome to the Porsche Club Insider, your one stop for all things Porsche and PCA. Here's your host, Vu Gwyn, and the Insider crew.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 120. We are at the 68th Porsche Parade in Birmingham, Alabama. We're sitting in the middle of an exhibit hall. Not exactly quiet, but we're going to make this work.
Can your eyes read your phone?
No, which is why I brought
my laptop here. You know.
I brought my reading glasses.
I'm looking at you. We're trying to read on that little phone. I'm thinking, my laptop's bigger and it says everything that you're reading.
Well, thank you, Manny. Damon, thank you.
Yeah.
And to the right of me, the man with many words in his presentation made people laugh, maybe even offended a few people.
He should be happy.
I think I might have. I'm waiting for those emails and calls from
you should be relaxed.
Mr. Ambrosino,
he spent 1 hour venting in front of an audience. Whether they came to hear that or not, they heard Nathan vent for an hour.
Yeah, so officially Nathan Merz, PCA's valuation expert and owner of Columbia Valley Luxury Cars. Thank you for joining us today.
Would rather be anywhere but here. Oh, did I say that? I really enjoy being
He's
here.
really grumpy today.
Yeah, you know why? Because he got the Bucky sandwich, and now it's coming back to haunt him, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it more in the moment than in the current moment is a safe way to say about
What
the
made
Bucky
you think
sandwich.
it was a good idea to have a big old brisket sandwich before your seminar?
Because he couldn't resist going to lunch with Tony and the
the VIPs.
designers, and I think Mark Porsche too. Did he come along?
Oh, okay.
He did, and even better, God bless America, Tony had to get a 6-pack of Coors Light for us to have with those brisket sandwiches. So
that explains the seminar.
Now did Mark? I told him to put coleslaw over top his brisket and then some barbecue sauce.
I don't want to rat a man out because there should be like a guy code for when you eat at Buc-ee's, you don't share that with others. But he full on had 2 Buc-ee's sandwiches.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, full on.
My
He is
man.
embracing he is embracing the parade American experience.
You know what I'll do tonight?
What?
I'm going to go to Buc-ee's.
There you go. So we're getting ahead of ourselves because we're at Porsche Parade and we're in Birmingham. And you caught some flack, Manny, from some of the locales.
Yes, evidently.
Evidently,
we
they listen
record
to the podcast.
I don't think anybody's ever going to listen to it, and evidently they did. So we had made some comments because we.
Then don't say we, because it was you.
It's all together.
We share the blame.
It was you.
Comments were made about Birmingham because we didn't understand. We had never been here. Damon and I had never been here, and we heard that the Concours was going to be underneath the highway, underpass. Now, in Baltimore, and underpasses, that's usually where the homeless, unfortunately, have to live, and some nefarious activity occur on the underpass.
I think the Red Hot Chili Peppers have a song about that.
It's
pretty depressing.
Yeah, there we
He's
go.
basically admit he spends a lot of time under the Baltimore underpass, is what you're saying.
Well, I pass through Baltimore when I go home, so I see all this, and I had visions of a Concours, and I couldn't quite grasp what this Concours was going to look like with this underpass, but I think we were pleasantly surprised. But anyways, the locals came and they said, we heard you kind of badmouth Birmingham. And I said, well, it wasn't bad-mouthing. We were just kind of concerned about what the Concours would look like.
Now, I've fortunately have been here before, and I did have visions of what the Concours could possibly be under the overpass. And did you guys agree that that was probably one of the best Concours?
It was freaking awesome.
Awesome.
Yes.
I will say, so this is the only Concours where, 1, I didn't get sunburn because I didn't wear sunscreen, and 2, that I didn't have to wear sunscreen.
Yeah.
So
and yes, we were hoping it wasn't going to be hot, but it was especially cool on Monday, and we had shade, and there were no bugs, and there was no mud, no grass clippings you'd have to get out of your treads, and people stayed and hung out.
And if you stayed at the Sheraton or the Westin, it was a very short walk. I mean, you could actually go back in and get coffee, which some people did. It was ideally located.
Yeah, the other thing I love is I just hate photos taken on grass. Cars rarely photo well on grass, so it's kind of more urban landscape. I think our photos are going to look a lot better for our all-important followers on social media. I think that's a huge benefit. And unlike Damon, I didn't get burned.
Yeah.
I have Irish roots, and let me tell you, I usually get cooked out there. So
And you didn't wear sunscreen.
I did not wear
Did
sunscreen.
I didn't have to wear a hat or anything. It was, and I thought I thought, why didn't they have a rain site? You were going to use a convention center as the rain back up, but it seemed like that would have provided a lot of shelter from the rain.
Well, and I felt better for you because I remember last year you wore your toupee to keep your head in the shade, and you didn't have to wear
Yes, it worked so well. Yeah.
You're terrible.
Did you see me? With
It was nice knowing you.
It was the Nathan Merz toupee.
The last
where
episode
my
Nathan
hair,
Merz will be in.
I comb my hair forward to not let people know that I'm receding.
Now, by the time people listen to this, they will have already seen the walk around tour. But maybe you can share some of your favorites that you saw.
So it's on YouTube, and Chris Jacobs, a professional, and very good-looking guy.
Were you intimidated?
Yes. Well, first of all, he's 6'4". I'm 5'6".
Comes through.
Yeah.
Did you suck it in for all the angles?
I look like a leprechaun talking about Porsches next to him, and he's got a chiseled chin, and he looks good, and got hair.
You're
on
our
his
favorite
head.
leprechaun, though.
Well, yeah, evidently. So,
I thought you guys went well together. I mean, he's
I didn't know what to
Sure.
expect on his Porsche knowledge, but he knows a lot about Porsche, and he can talk about it without stumbling. That was all
Yeah.
one take.
Yeah.
There was actually one retake.
shout out to
That
Chris,
was it.
man.
So
Good
when you
job,
watch
brother.
the film, we had about 10 minutes. We spoke ahead of time of how we were going to do this, and then we went at it, and it went pretty well. You know, when you're working with somebody new, you don't know how they're going to take cues, or I told him we prefer to do this in one take if possible, so Damon doesn't have to edit that much, and we can get this done quickly. And he got it, and it went really well. But to go to the video, I guess in the cars we saw, the highlight without a doubt, I think, was the 904. That
How could it not
Ingram's
be?
Ingram's
Unbelievable
brought, and they had. And if you follow the Road Scholars on Instagram, you would have seen the whole progress of how they restored this car. That probably, if you looked at, didn't need restoration, but they prepared for a parade concours. Was an incredible amount of work.
And did they get the highest score on Concours?
299.7. So out of 300. So every tenth is one small smudge, one piece of lint. It's just
I can't imagine how much they had to search to
I
to
asked
get that many
him on
points off.
Thursday, so the Concours was on Monday, and I asked him on Thursday late afternoon. I said, "So how many hours do you have in the car already, just here?"
Yeah.
In preparation. And he thought for a second. He said about 20, because he had different people
Really?
working on it. Yeah. So they came in to win. But how often do you see a 904, a
Right,
real one? We
right.
see them replicas a lot at Cars and Coffee, but this was a real one. Ran at Targa Florio. Used to belong to Jerry Seinfeld. Was they said it's the first prototype he ever bought.
I think we have to mention that it's owned now by Ricky Mershad, who also won, I think, at Concours a year or two.
Oh,
ago.
he's
Pocono, yeah.
yeah,
Pocono,
he's
yeah, he's
one mini.
prolific.
Yeah.
In the winner's circle.
Now, as much as cool as that 904 was, the one that kind of won my heart was the one that was a meat locker find,
Oh, so that
Ooh, yeah.
right?
58 speeds.
that ends up winning honorary judge's choice.
That car was ridiculous.
And the owner had on an iPhone the video
Mm-hmm.
of it being stored in the meat locker.
So the previous owner, I think, was a second owner, but he had owned it for, gosh, probably over 50 years. And it was parked in Pennsylvania, Butcher, and was parked in his garage, but he built a meat locker, essentially, inside that garage to keep that car in. And we have a number of 356 specialists that come to Parade, and their jaws dropped at how original this car was.
Yeah, you don't think about that, but cars, modern cars hold up pretty well. You can find a 20-year-old, say a 2004 Porsche, even if it only got a monocle, would hold up pretty well. But think back to that period, even when those cars were 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, they already needed restoration.
Right.
So to look at a car now that's 60 years old.
I read somewhere
looks
where
like
when they built the 356, Porsche thought that car should last 20 years, and they would be happy. Think about that, 20 years. And
That was the shelf
now.
life they were thinking.
And what was, I asked the owner to repeat because I couldn't believe that the rear plastic window was original. And you know what my rear plastic window looks like on my Z3 with tape and glue?
Yes.
And that's a replacement window. That's not even the original window anymore. That this car was able to. The top, he said, was so original that a lot of manufacturers of tops have decided to revise a way to make the tops because it's different than how the replacement tops are, because it's been hard to find an original top.
So I know we're going to talk about the VIPs that are at Parade here in a bit, but I learned a factoid about a 356 last night from Tony Hatter. He had bought a Emery Outlaw. Well, he bought an engine lid, and then he had Rod Emery do the louvers, like the 5 louvers for it, and then he was going to put it on his car. What he didn't realize was when you buy even a factory piece to put it onto your car, it still needs to be like shaped to put onto your 356. They don't just, it's not, every car, every lid was individualized to that particular car. I had no idea. Modern day things are made the same, and the variances are the same, that you could just plop it on. But he never ended up using it.
That's how it was back in the day. They were handmade, and the 2 doors would not fit each other, even though they're both from a
Same car.
356A.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, our listeners should know this, but you and I are actually brothers, and I remember when we were kids, our mom used to say, well, they made Vu a little bit extra special, and now I know why. He didn't know this. It's okay, Vu. We still love you.
I still remember last year when this gentleman walks up to me, non-Asian, and goes, I know you don't know, but I'm your father. I'm like, huh?
Mom?
And then I looked at his badge. I'm like, aha. Yeah.
Oh, Vu's denying me. But yeah, actually, that's why if you look at a 356, you can find the last 3 digits of the VIN that's stamped into the engine lid on those, and as well as the hood hinges, which identifies those belong to that car. So one of the ways you inspect a 356 is you verify they match, because if they don't, it's very, very hard to ever get the caps right on them.
I think, going a little off topic with Porsche, but I think what you bring up is the fact that we take for granted how the body parts just fit from one car to the other. But that's how Cadillac became famous, because they were the standard bearer of the world, I think it was called, because they had a contest, and they would take 3 cars, disassemble them, and you'd have to switch parts and put them
Mix
back
up the
together.
parts?
Yeah, mix up the parts, and they would put them back together, and most manufacturers couldn't do that because of the fact that the parts varied from one car to the other, but Cadillac was able to put together 3 cars, and they all ran and were fit perfectly.
Now, you two were working really hard to put together this video. Did you get a chance to really enjoy one of the cars or 2 of the cars and have your favorites?
Well, I think we had a lot of time to walk around, or at least I did in the morning.
I was walking around and carrying the camera, so like the first, from when I got there until maybe 12:31 p.m. I was pretty busy, but from about 1 until the award show, so like the last 30 minutes to 45, I want to say it was, I saw Bogdan talking to a dude who owned an RS America. And he seemed pretty proud of it. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go save Bogdan so we can go, take some photos for social media. And so I just walked up and said, hey, so, Keith Verlack? I just do a name drop and that'll take his attention. He's like, oh, yeah, Keith, he's my uncle. Oh, very nice. Do you mind can I have 5 minutes to tell you a story? And he brought out this whole folder of his red RSA and how he bought it new, picked it up in Germany, drove it on the Autobahn, like... His dad bought a 993 because he bought the 964 RSA.
He's from Potomac region.
Yeah, Steve Hunt. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
we sat with him actually at the long time ago at a PC dinner.
Yeah, super nice. He's a journalist, published a paper out there in Mount Vernon for a while, and it wasn't 5 minutes. We talked for maybe half an hour, and then I had to go run over and record the awards. But I got to say that was my favorite car, and just kind of that was a cool moment for me.
Did he show you the picture of him going top speed on the Autobahn?
Yeah, 170.
And I said, before I got out, who took the picture? And he said, it was my girlfriend taking the picture. Because I thought, there's no way I'm taking my hands off the steering wheel.
I was going to say, I can only imagine 170 miles an hour, one hand on the wheel, the other on a DSLR film camera.
Right.
No. So that was my favorite.
Manny, favorite?
Well, so the funny thing about the Speedster was... Rob Sass, the editor of Pano, was looking for ideas and whatnot, so he asked, I said to him, well, it would be pretty cool if we could be the fly on the wall with the honorary judges, and maybe Jeff Majeski, our executive editor of Pano, who's helping to write the article, may get an idea of how the honorary judges pick their favorite. And the honorary judges in this case was Peter Porsche, Mark Porsche, Grant Larson, the designer, Tony Hatter, the designer, and a few other VIPs. But so they walk around and pick basically their favorite car, and they went through, and the whole time we spent about 2.5 hours tailing them, and they, I said to myself, they're going to pick this white Speedster. Why are we wasting time? We just should go to the whites. And sure enough, the white Speedster was the last one, and they got there and they fell in love, because I love original cars, and I know Nathan does as well, and the more I heard from this guy about how original this car was, it just blew me away.
How about you?
I had a couple cars I really liked. That the first one that sticks in my head, and I got to be careful because Manny can get a big head over this, but I have to say they did an amazing job with the 991.1 Club Coupe, and there was a Club Blau one there, and that is my favorite 991. I just think they nailed that car. The tritone stitching, the ducktail.
You're welcome.
Totally agree.
Yeah, well, don't get a big head over this one, so I'll move on to the next car.
They had a 50th too.
Yeah, but that's a good car. I like that car, but that 60th,
The 60th pops.
it just.
Whereas the
Club Blau is
50th I love, but
It's
it's more
subtle.
subdued.
Yeah.
Subtle, elegant.
The other car I really liked, had the opportunity to judge, was a 73 911S in light ivory with green.
That was original
leather.
too, wasn't it?
It was a restored car.
Was it
and normally
restored?
I prefer original cars, but that car was very, very well done, very well presented. And you know me, I'm a little bit snobby, and so I poured over this car, and everywhere I looked, I just marveled. But the green interior, I love light ivory because it's a soft, warm white, and then you have a soft kind of warm green. And it doesn't sound that great, when you talk about it, but in person, so good.
Yeah. So 2 cars that kind of stood out for me. One was a family story. It was a 87 red coupe that the father bought originally, but about 5 years ago, unfortunately, he wrecked the front end, and the son and the father decided to backdate the front end and backdate the wheels, and it was really nicely done. I don't know, I didn't look at it super closely, but it was a family affair. I thought that was pretty cool.
Did you get the coolest part of that story?
No.
Believe it or not, the dad entered that car at Parade 2015 in French Lick when it had 80,000 miles and 1 preservation class with it. When it was original.
When it was
and
original.
now he brings it back to Parade backdated. So pretty cool.
That's cool. I didn't know
9
that.
years later. Yeah.
Preservation original?
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
And then the other car was, I think it was the Coopers. It was a very interesting, light blue.
I did not realize they brought 2 cars.
Yeah. What was that? What do you remember? What color that was? We'll have to look it
didn't
up.
realize
Was it
they
the
brought-
It was
77?
it was
Polar-
not
polar blue?
polar blue.
Polar
I've never
blue.
heard of it.
Coppa Floria
It looked like a little bit like
77
Yes,
Alvin S?
that's it. That's it.
Coppa Floria blue.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you
they
talking
called
Cameron
it. They
West?
called it polar blue.
No.
different.
No, the
Not
It's
Coopers.
not polar blue.
We have Rainbow, We could give a shout out.
We'll
to
have
our
to-
friends at
I'm just
Rainbow.
saying what
Yeah.
was on the screen in front of 1,000 people.
Yeah, it was
I'm
on their
calling him
board.
out.
No. But he had both names.
Oh, okay.
He had both names.
So it's not
Yeah.
compromising.
Yeah, exactly.
They're probably going to call us out if they hear this podcast. They're going to unsubscribe and get on the Corvette podcast.
But yeah, that was a pretty striking color. 'Cause, I know I'm
great
colorblind,
color.
but it looked like golf blue at first, but it was a little bit too light to be golf blue
So how is it you're colorblind yet you're describing the color? I'm just
because
a
I
little
can't,
bit-
I
Certain
can't, I
colors,
can't
certain
see red
shades.
green.
Yeah, certain shades.
So blue's good. So Club Blau's
the
At
most
least
part.
the way it looks to me, it looks great. But
You look great to me, Manny.
thank you.
Okay, enough. You two. Do I need to move my seat? Switch seats with you? All right. So the Concours went incredibly well, and people stayed much longer than
Well,
any other
Let
Concours.
me give some insights.
Yeah.
So we're hanging out with the honorary judges, and we get done, and they got to go judge the art show or something. So I'm walking around, I'm getting hungry, and the nice thing about this urban setting was they had food trucks,
Food drugs.
Yes.
taco trucks, and I had scoped them out ahead of time. So I had my heart set on this
His priorities.
it's little taco truck, and so I'm in line. I ordered my burrito, and here they come back down, and I was like, "Hey, you guys ate lunch already?" And they're like, "No, we're coming back to the taco truck you told us about." And so obviously they're German. Well, not Mark Porsche is German, but Grant and Tony have lived in Germany for decades. And you would have thought they knew what a burrito was.
They didn't know what a burrito was?
They're asking me. Oh, we had Christoph too, who's
Didn't
the
know.
new. And they have pictures, and I guess they weren't. I'm trying to explain to them. One you have it hold in your hand, and you can eat. The other ones you can hold with your fingers. They're tacos, and we go through. So half of them get tacos, half burritos, and then we walk over across the street to sit down and eat them, and watching them try to eat this food they're not familiar, which they loved. But we got done, and we're walking back over, and we catch a faded yellow 911 SC Targa with looked like aftermarket flares, turbo kit. And Mark Porsche fell in love with this car.
Really?
It made Damon's Camry look pretty good.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a pretty high standard.
No hood, a hole in the hood, but a lot of rust. A lot of rust on the hood. Patina you could not replicate. And so I stand there, and for like 15 minutes they're taking photos. And I unfortunately I did a video, and I didn't vid a video right, but I was like, here's the car they're looking at, and you pan over like 10 feet, and here's 300 Porsches that are in absolutely flawless condition that they're not looking at. They've
seen a few of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were tickled by this patinaed out.
Well,
car.
They passed this for inspection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're easily distracted when they're over here. I know you were able to spend some time on the road with them with a tour to the Barber Museum and such, but it wasn't that I really heard a lot of stories about. In fact, it was a place that was not a scheduled stop, and you kind of said it reminded you of my garage, which I don't know is a compliment or just a factual description of the location.
Yeah, so Grant had on the way over. I didn't even see this place because we caravanned over. Was I'll give a shout out, Chaotic Customs.
Chaotic Customs.
I didn't get the owner's name. He was very friendly. But anyways, he was saying we got to stop by Chaotic Customs, and it was that or Buc-ee's.
I'll take chaotic.
And we had eaten lunch, so I think the Buc-ee's dropped down on the list, not just to go there and not get something to eat. And I'm thinking in my head, Chaotic Customs is like a
well-known shop.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
something big. And it turned out it's a little, maybe 2 or 3 bay garage that fixes hot rods, but it was where hoarding goes to die.
And he had no idea you guys were stopping by. It was literally you just saw the
He
sign.
came out and sees these brand new Porsches pull up to
What in the
3 of
world?
them. And so I'm like, this can't be the place. I'm like, did we mess up on the address? He goes, no, this is the place. So we get out.
Who was saying this?
Grant
Grant
Larson, and we go in, and the guy's very friendly, Southern hospitality, and Grant says, "Yeah, we saw your shop, and it looked really cool, and we wanted to stop by." So the guy, you can see, is a little confused, like, my shop?
Yeah. So this is probably where you should explain to our listeners, for those that don't know, who Grant and Tony, Mark Porsche, I think most people can get.
So Mark Porsche is the son of Butzi Porsche, who, of course, designed the original 911 and the 904 and created Porsche design, and he passed away a few years back. Grant Larson, longtime designer for Porsche, started off with the Boxster, did the Carrera GT, did the 997, I think worked part of the 991, had his hands in almost everything, if not majority of the design. He certainly
And recently
had his
the
hands
GT2 Club Sport?
on, no, the GT3R Rennsport
GT3R
and
Rennsport.
the 935.
That's right, the 935
rehash of the 935. Of course, Tony Hatter did the 993. He did the Carrera GT, did the GT1, and a forklift, we found out.
Elfland, also a pipe organ in Germany.
Yes.
One of the biggest ever.
Oh.
So,
Were you here for that?
No.
Yeah.
I was there for that.
Yeah.
so so anyways, so you can imagine these guys stop by, and but this guy doesn't know who they are or what's going on, but he's very nice. He says, "Sure, come on in. I'll show you around." Shows him a couple of the projects they're working on, and we spend about maybe 20 minutes there. And so the guys thank him, and we're getting ready to leave. And I let Grant and Tony get a few feet ahead of me, and I double back and I say to the guy, I said, just in case you're wondering who these people were that stopped in your shop. And I said, he's a designer of this, he's a designer of that, and that's a member of the Porsche family. And the guy, you can see his eyes, they got really big. He goes, really? I'm like, yeah. I said, so that's why you have these manufacturer plate cars on your lot. And
So what was the quality of their work, Chaotic Customs? They're muscle cars,
it's
hot
hard to
rods.
tell, but he had his own personal I'm going to say a 1930s hot rod. He chopped it, and the paint was beautiful. I mean, it's the kind of paint you look into it, and it looks like you're looking 8 feet into the paint.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
Quality shop.
Yeah, but a very, very, very nice guy. I mean, he offered us water on the way out, and I told him, I said, that's Southern hospitality.
Yeah.
Not sure if they do that in the northeast, but the south.
Not so much. I don't know what you guys' experience here has been, but from the moment we've got off the plane, the nicest people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I
yeah.
literally get off the plane, and I made a last-minute reservation because I had to do a hard turn on not bringing my car, and so I had a car reserved with Hertz. And I get there, and I kind of, I just kind of joke with people. So I get to the counter, and I said, a Nissan Altima. And the gal at the counter's like, oh, sweetheart, I can do better for you. And I was like, oh, you don't have to. And she's like, oh, no. And she like full on went and dug through a bunch of places, made some phone calls. Next thing I got a Cadillac out of the deal.
Nice.
Back home, they would have been like, sir, you take it or leave it, And
You're
it's
gonna
been that way.
like it.
Everyone we've dealt with here has been
Everyone-
amazing. So
everyone-
shout out to Birmingham.
Absolutely.
Been great.
And to the Alabama region,
Yes.
who had a big part in tours and setting this up. Even though parades run nationally, the region plays a huge part in the Alabama region. Did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
So if you're also a little bit ignorant in some areas of the U.S. like I am, Alabama or Birmingham, it's not in the middle of a cornfield. They're hills.
That's their logo. We're not in the
Beautiful,
middle of a cornfield.
This is a really cool city in elevation.
The food scene here is ridiculous.
Yeah, and the food is great.
Ooh,
this
so good.
Birmingham's pretty
It
awesome.
doesn't work well with my running, though. I showed up for a sprinting workout this morning after having a heavily, what's called a barbecue-laden evening of fried okra, fried green tomatoes, like every kind of barbecue, the white bread where you put all the,
Oh, yeah.
maybe a few beers thrown in there. Let's just say it was...
And that
Your morning workout
revisited it.
wasn't good.
And so tonight we're eating a Brazilian steakhouse.
yes, I'm just going to try to seal the deal.
and I'm the one that needs to be heart healthy. So your take on Birmingham obviously is 180 to what you were expecting, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just that we don't do the site visits, so it's a surprise to us. And yeah, definitely, it's the friendliness of everyone. So they meet at a oh man, I'm drawing a blank where they met for the tours. Was it
the
Motoring Classic? Was it? We'll have to get it right when we edit. But it's a former Sam's Club, they said, and they do nothing but restoration. So you can imagine, Nathan, a Sam's Club
That's a big
size. It used to be a Sam's Club into a body shop restoration, and very impressive. They had like tricycles, big adult tricycles to get around, because that's how big this place was. A lot of Porsches on display that I guess they're working on, have worked on, or selling. But they were very friendly folk, and that's where all the cars would meet that went on the tours. So several hundred.
Was I right about the roads here in Birmingham, in Alabama, and the scenery?
Yes, it was. On the way we went to Barber Motorsports Museum, and I rode with Mark Porsche, and he kept on saying this was like the Beverly Hills of Birmingham, because the houses were just
Majestic.
Yeah. But it really surprised him. He said, "How come there's no gates? Why aren't these behind gated community?" And I said, "Well, evidently the neighborhood's very safe, because I don't see. You saw people walking and jogging and whatnot." He was like, he goes, "I'm surprised." He says, "Because I would think this would be all gated." But nope, they were out in the open.
Yeah, I went to a place called Homewood, Alabama this morning to run, and it was so idyllic. It was kind of like you picture like the pleasant South with all the nice, beautiful old homes with the porches and people out walking dogs. And it's like, I'm ready to move to Birmingham.
Yeah.
So how much do you run when you go running in the morning?
Yeah, this morning was a little interesting post-barbecue. So I ran with some guys that I will shout them out. They were way more fit than me, let's just say this. So
Were they the ones I saw you with this morning when I came down to get my coffee?
No, I
no,
went up to Homewood, which is about 5 miles north of here, south of here maybe. And
Is this your F3?
F3 guys.
Yeah.
And,
I was hoping to go.
They said we're going to start at a nice
this
moderate, like 8-minute pace. And I looked at my data, and we did a couple miles sub 6-minute pace. And
Yeah, I couldn't
let's
do
just
that.
say
And no one,
barbecue and 4 beers.
no
that's
one's
not
chasing
really-
you or anything. You're just doing this one.
No.
So you do realize I've already done F3 a couple times.
Who's going to do it soon?
Yeah.
He promised.
Are you at F2 right now?
The
or F1?
best was today when we were in the back of the audience here, and Cindy Jackson was showing Mark Porsche our Porsche bike crew and the trip that we're going to be doing. And she's like, oh, and there's Vu. And he looks at me and goes, you ride bikes? I'm like, bro, the tone that you just took with me.
Bike shaming.
Yeah. He's like, you don't look like a bike rider.
It's like, we have an e-bike for you.
Yeah.
Well, we did corrupt them because we went to the Waffle House. Now, that wasn't my choice. Everyone was saying, I cannot believe you took them to the Waffle House. And I said, I did not. They picked it.
Waffle houses are equal.
But they picked it.
You
picked
are
it themselves.
sort of a Waffle House ambassador. Let's not lie.
I think I might have mentioned what the Waffle House was, and when I got in the car with Mark Porsche, he said, "Oh, we're going to meet, Tony and Grant for breakfast." I said, "Okay," thinking at Starbucks or something. And instead, as we get closer, I realized we're going to the Waffle House.
Nice.
And they had never been to the Waffle House either, so they studied that menu like they were studying for the SATs. And
It was a smothered, scattered.
I had to do a quick explanation of what everything was, and that.
Did anyone get a waffle at least?
No, the funny thing was they realized afterwards that no one got a waffle.
Oops.
Oh, that's funny.
A lot of bacon, a lot of sausage, a lot of hash
They're getting the
browns.
full experience, all the barbecue. Yeah.
I was going to say,
Buc-ee's.
have they even per person? Have they spent even $100 for all their meals so far yet?
Probably not.
Probably.
No, at this rate, no. They were doing a lot of fast food stuff.
I will say Birmingham has some great food, but they are terrified of vegetables here. I've never seen a vegetable that wasn't fried here. Have you seen a single vegetable on a single
Did you
serving
not
anything?
see all that mashed potatoes one night? That's and I think it was,
In the 80s,
it
we were
was-
taught that was a vegetable.
it
Later,
was-
we learned that was a
It was
starch.
the best mashed potatoes because I'm sure it was half butter and half cream. It
So
was
you're
so
you're
good.
saying our president Aaron is having a hard time as a vegetarian?
Oh, I can't even imagine. My wife's like, can we get a
that's
salad
probably
here?
true. It's probably
Oh,
tough
this
for him.
fried okra, that
Yeah.
counts, though, right?
That's what we had last
It
night.
is.
And
It is.
He's not vegan. He's just vegetarian,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
You're
Just
not.
fried it.
Who's Susie's not vegetarian, is she?
No,
Oh.
I like the occasional vegetable. I mean,
I eat tofu sometimes.
yeah,
Sometimes.
tofurkey.
Yeah, exactly.
When there's no steak or chicken or pork around.
Yes.
So you want to talk about what we did here today?
Sure.
Yeah, we dropped some knowledge for Porsche Parade attendees and had a pretty all-star list of speakers, not including this guy over here.
It'll be my last speaking engagement, apparently.
I agree with that, yeah.
Yeah, but we definitely recorded, and I'm going to give a big shout-out to Damon. I'm looking
Yes.
at all this equipment, and, we do miss Robert, but we got to move on and do our thing, and Damon has really stepped up.
It wasn't just that. It was the challenges of so every parade. We obviously we go to different locations for every parade, and there's always challenges. But both of us did the worst thing, and we assumed because when we got here, the convention center was open at like 5 a.m. and stayed open until 10
For
p.m.
the past 3 days.
Yeah, so
like 10 p.m.
We assumed, well, okay, we could stay to 10 p.m. setting up, and we'll be up and early at 5 a.m., so we're golden. And that wasn't the case. They were closing at 5 and wouldn't open again until 8. And we were like in panic mode because that was nowhere near the time. Damon had to do a lot of setting up. And, of course, the day yesterday was the day Damon does e-breaks, so he spends all day doing this, our newsletter. So through just the sheer panic of how we were going to get everything set
I was
up.
pretty panicked yesterday, but I'd only set this whole contraption up once, and that was earlier this week in the PCA office, and I hadn't really practiced all that much using the switchboard, but I took pictures. I thought that I could do it, and I had a little bit of help from Robert. I got to call.
And
a
thank you,
couple
Robert, for
times.
taking.
good,
Thank you,
Robert.
Robert,
Glad
for
you got
taking
it.
the call.
Very
Also,
much so.
Jay from Have Services.
Yes.
Oh, the
set
guys
up
at
all
Have,
the audio.
absolutely.
So all the speakers, for the live attendees, worked properly, and our recording device worked properly at the same time, and that was all him. So
Yeah, shout out to Jay because
Wow.
and the Bryans because we have very high ceilings here, and there was hardly any of sound absorbing material. So yeah, I was very concerned. There was a lot of concern, but then Damon texted me and said, "I feel really good. I'm done for tonight," and I knew that meant at least we had a fighting chance.
yeah, and we did. So
here
it turned out well.
Here are the topics that we had, and you can jump in and talk about them. At 9 o'clock, we had Grant Larson with the design development of the 997. We had Grant and Tony for Porsche Motorsports in the design studio. Tony had her for a career in design at Porsche. We had a Macan EV walk around. The one that Manny and I shudder when we watch is when Mike Kukovica talks about the construction of modern Porsches and, more importantly, what it takes to properly repair them. That's one of
all these newer, lighter weight Porsches.
Yeah.
And how they're getting their
very
cars
enlightening.
lighter weight,
Not
but
gonna be
what
able to do it in your
materials?
garage anymore.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Bondo
And then-
doesn't cut it.
And then, of course, Nathan dropped some knowledge on the state of the Porsche market, but really it was just a complaint session for about an hour.
It was. I was going to say.
Pretty much. Yeah,
Pretty much.
Well, I had to skip my weekly therapy session, and so I figured, well, when in Rome, we'll do that. So.
And then Pedro Bonilla talked about, don't freak out, there's some stuff that we can fix.
What did you say about Susie? You said that you checked to see if your wife was there before you made the statement.
Well,
He often does
She
that.
doesn't watch
Yes.
the podcast either, does she?
yeah, no. It's more that I find that she hurts my car's feelings.
That's what it was. Yeah.
That's what it was.
So she'll say some mean-spirited comments, and my cars have kind of thin skin, so usually I talk to them gently and kind of stroke the crest on the steering wheel, and I tell them that they're good and
I'm not going to lie.
valuable
I do that too.
people. Yeah, like,
Well, prior to that, he
Like, I
had
like you.
recommended
yeah.
he recommended you buy a car that speaks to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I leaned into Sydney. I'm like, oh
you know
my
what the
God,
best
the cars
Porsche
really
is?
do speak to him.
You know what the best Porsche is? A 2007 Cayman 2.7 liter.
I do like that. How how you predict what people are going to say is the best car is you just look in the garage.
I think
truly believe that.
he was definitely hitting some
Nerves.
spots there exactly with people when he was there. Were in denial. I'm not that kind of person. I would never say that.
Although I'll have to give Damon a compliment. Rob and I were doing my favorite thing, which is to walk through the parking garage and check the cars out. And
Yep.
it's always funny because, often the cars we're most attracted to are not the ones that maybe would be the big showstopper.
Yeah.
There's just something about a car that, and don't get a big head over this, Damon, but I looked across the parking lot and I said, like that Cayman, I like the stance on that Cayman. Like, look at the wheel fitment, the ride height's just dialed.
Okay.
And then when I kind of turn the corner, I'm like, oh no, that's Damon's car.
Oh,
Yeah.
But it was just the wheel
man.
fitment and everything on the right on that car. It
Yeah.
says
You just made his day.
No,
Like you
it
just
was
lifted
great.
all
the
of
front wheels
the,
are perfect.
Yeah.
The rear wheels,
No,
I think you would like it even more with the BBSs.
No, it
because-
looks really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, thank you. I
he was already on cloud nine because he did really well at a recent autocross too.
Yeah, you know how many people I've told that I have a torque biasing differential now?
Yeah.
Way too many.
Really? Do you
Yeah, I
actually
got-
have one, or this is
I
you?
did. No, guard torque biasing differential. About
He
a month ago.
loves
That's how he's picking up.
Someone
That's how he's
protested
picking
your
up girls
autocross
at the
time
bar.
now that
Yeah.
you know this?
I have a
Well, no. My class is. I'm not classed very well anymore. I have no chance at the packs. At the
Oh, yeah, yeah,
X.
yeah.
But overall, one of these days,
I think
my
my-
car will get there.
I think my only chance now is just to go straight to Hoosiers. Is if I'm possibly gonna catch them, is forget changing anything
I
on
don't
my
know
car.
about
Just
that.
go straight Hoosiers.
I don't know, but I've gotten better. But I'm sure you have as well.
I did well at the kids' RC. I did get a chance to pop in and out of meetings.
So you race against kids on the
No, I
RC.
ra-
That's
I-
what you're bragging about.
No, I raced against the adults.
Oh,
the
okay,
adults
all right.
in the RC car world. And
Did you keep the Gwynn name alive in the RC world?
I did, but with this one we've been so busy. I normally prep a car to come and compete and this, that, and the other, but I just didn't have time. So and I I just literally just went from one meeting and popped over there and did a hot lap, and like that was my time. I didn't spend a whole lot, but both on road and off road, I took a trophy home. So 2 trophies for me.
Wow.
Don't me, I haven't seen my nieces and nephews here. Were they not here?
No, I'm solo. Kids.
Wow.
He's independent zoo.
Sister-in-law's not here either.
Nope.
Wow.
Nope.
Oh,
Everyone has
that is
their
funny.
own agenda.
I love how he tells everyone he's watching his weight, he's getting in condition, and we go into PCA office.
Where
have
are
a
we going
meeting,
with
and
this?
He is shoving Funyuns and Fritos in his backpack.
I will not let you
bring
shame
home
him.
your
I
kids.
actually have evidence he was doing. Susie and I thought, you know what? This is a nice resort. I'm going to go check out the fitness facilities. That's kind of my thing. And I will say that the fitness facilities are very underwhelming here, but I put my little key card in and I opened the door, and lo and behold, late at night, who is there spinning on the bike?
Last night was the only night we've been here since when? Friday?
Something like that.
Yeah. So last night was the only night I didn't ride for 1 hour.
Yeah, he was in there.
There was some nights where I had to ride until 1 a.m. But I
Now,
got
he was
it in.
spinning at 12 RPM, but he was still doing it.
You suck.
Man, that's slow. 12 RPM.
He didn't want his IMS bearing to fail.
I thought they had Pelotons up there.
Well, no. Well, the thing is, they do have Pelotons, but the one in the Weston, the Peloton is broke. But I don't care. I just need the resistance and ride. I'm really riding to prepare my behind for sitting for 8 hours, 9 hours. So it's
What do you do at the office normally?
I ride at home.
But you sit all the time.
That's a different seat.
Now he's going to get like a bicycle seat, stick it on the ground in front of his computer.
Oh, you see what?
Prepare your
Are we
buttocks.
really in the podcast talking about who's behind? I mean, like, if we really reach this low of
We're getting too personal. Let's take a break and just say, please, if you're enjoying the podcast, be sure to click that like button. We certainly appreciate it when you comment and all the funny things that you want to say about us. We enjoy it all, and of course, be sure to subscribe. I think we're at 92,000.
93 point something. Yeah.
Yeah, 92. We're getting there. So thank you so much. I'll just keep going and talk about the PCA newsletters. If you haven't joined and subscribed to e-brake news, performance news, and
Test drive
news, be sure to go to pca.org. Sign up. It's free. So videos. I know where we talked about the walk around video, but do you want to talk about maybe what you're working on this week?
I already know something's going to be mentioned. That's the 911 SC guide, which
yeah.
I told several people, it's going to be done 2 weeks ago. And, I am sorry to say that I was not able to get that done. But
And
that is coming up, Nathan.
Don't
very
worry about
soon.
because I like the idea, but I know the guy who put that video together isn't very knowledgeable, so I don't really think that's going to be our best video. But you can give it a whirl.
Okay. Yeah, but that will be coming down at some point. So Nathan did a pre-purchase inspection of the 911 SC, and then we'll have the 911 SC guide all in the same week, so you can watch them together. But right now we have the Porsche Parade Concours video that's out, and Axel Catton sent me some footage from a collection in Europe, Danish collection, and that'll be a video that we'll be releasing in the next couple weeks. And other than that, I can't remember anything because I've been up for far too long today. So.
We did a drop of a teaser. That's a kind of a big deal.
Yeah, yes.
Think you all received
at the Concours banquet.
Yeah, so the Arizona RS collection, I think we can say at this point, is basically this huge collection. And when I say huge, it's probably not the biggest collection ever, but have you ever seen that many RSs and lightweight Porsches all in one place? I don't think I have. And we did a video with Prescott Kelly and the owner of this car, and they cars, and they're talking about them, giving some history, and it should be very enjoyable.
Any one of those cars at an event would draw a crowd.
Yeah.
And we had the opportunity to have at least 30
like
plus
33, 34?
yeah,
31, I think.
30 plus.
Bring.
Any one of those cars would have drawn a crowd on its own. So
Yep.
looking forward to that. It's a lot of footage, so I know it's not going to drop anytime super soon,
August,
but it'll be worth the wait.
Yeah, and a teaser will come out at some point, and maybe by the time you're listening to this on YouTube. But yes, August. Look forward to that in August. Subscribe so you don't miss it.
There you go. Do we want to talk about upcoming events? You go with that, or you want anything else you want to talk about?
We missed our favorite memory, and I say memory, not memories.
Here
and
at
I
Parade?
think we should talk about it, about the first annual arm wrestling match.
Oh my God!
I didn't hear about this one.
Does this mean we're going to have to put this the video of it, the evidence on
we
YouTube?
might. So let me just
Oh, we mentioned it. The listeners are going to want to see it.
let me set the stage. So
What are we going to see?
well,
No.
This is even
So we the PCA headquarters staff arrived early to unload, and the staff came early to unload, but we build the parade store, so we're opening boxes. We're just
It's probably a good 20 hours of preparation.
Exactly. So we get
total.
It's hard work.
People aren't thinking rationally.
We're listening to whatever music. We're starting to get loopy towards the end of the day. And of course, Manny, when he gets loopy, he starts challenging people with all sorts of things. And we know Boggs. Boggs is a very fit individual,
Very confident.
very
individual.
confident, very fit. I think he was 2 times invited to be an American Ninja,
Ninja
Warrior
for that show.
But unfortunately, with COVID, he didn't get to fulfill his dreams there. So, with that in mind, Manny is constantly challenging him, and we were working.
Well, let me clarify. They're not challenging him to feats of strength.
No.
But
putting him in scenarios to test his strength,
and making him do push-ups, stuff like that.
So we were unboxing these super heavy-duty cash register shelves, and both Manny and I are working on them, and then Boggs comes over to assist, and somehow it got on the whole,
who would win in the arm wrestling fight?
Right.
Arm wrestling match.
And Levi is the other person.
Yeah, Levi is our registrar at PCA headquarters.
Now, we should both say that you wouldn't want to get into a fight with either of them.
No.
Absolutely. You definitely want to go clubbing with them and have them on your side.
Exactly.
Because if you decide to do something dumb, they would have your back.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, so somehow how did you even bring up arm wrestling?
Because I think Bogdan was telling us how strong he was. And I
no surprise.
I said who would win in an arm wrestling match, you or Levi? And to put this in better context, at the office I have to listen to these two argue all the time. Bro, you don't lift right, bro. How much do you lift? Every time they work together, and Damon doesn't. He may catch part of it, but they're not in his office doing it. They're across from my cubicle doing it.
Yeah.
And so I was egging Bogdan on to see who would be the best, and of course he said he would. And that moment, Levi walks in, and I said, "Hey, Levi," I said, "Who would win an arm wrestling match between you and Bogdan?" And he was like, "Oh, no question, I would."
Oh, really? Levi said that?
Yeah. So the match was on.
The match was on. And what was that Stallone movie? Was it Over the Top or something like that? It was in like the 80s. I think it was Over the Top.
Well, we said we're going to do it right here and now. Who's the best in arm wrestling? And at first they wanted to do it on the little IKEA table that we built.
That we just built for
would not stand. Would be like Jackie Chan working on this table.
Yeah.
So then we did it on the heavy cash.
Well, no. Then they said let's do it on the floor. So Boggs lays belly down, like ready to go, like he is ready to
wrestle, not to arm wrestle.
And then we decided to use the cash register stands in, which worked perfectly. Yeah. And then it was on.
Should we say who won, or should we just?
I think it's kind of obvious. I think it's obvious at this point.
And then run the video.
Do you know who won?
Who do you think? Have you met Levi? Do you know Levi?
I have met them both. Arm wrestling, oddly enough, isn't just about absolute strength.
Correct.
It's a skill thing. Like sometimes you get that little wiry.
What's the age difference you think between Levi and Bogdan?
Probably 10 years.
10 years, yeah.
10 years.
Levi's the oldest. Levi. Oh wow, really?
40, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He's in really good shape.
So at this point, we're going to roll tape.
Okay. But you gotta hold on me too. Yeah. You hold it. Yeah. Okay. No, put your elbow this way with straight. No. Okay. You don't do it like that. Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Levi got hella serious, right? Oh, look at his face.
Okay.
Damn.
Okay. Keep your hand flat. Ladies and gentlemen, start of Porsche Parade. No, that's fine.
Let's get ready to rumble.
And go. Oh. Okay, hand flat. He's not even sweating.
Somebody's gonna be called Daddy tonight.
Hey, who's getting deported?
Are you hurting?
Oh yeah, I don't have enough room. I'm on the edge.
Let's go. All right, can you guys stop like teasing and just get this done? Let me see.
Put it down.
Go. Are you trying?
I am. I can get him.
Oh, the muscles are.
So the way that you're like living sitting.
All right, and we're back. So did you think that was going to happen? And shout out to Levi for crushing him.
Poor Bogdan.
Bogdan
he was
went
so
from
confident.
Bogdan went from confidence to worry to sheer defeat in about 10 seconds.
And so
We love you, Boggs.
We do love you, Boggs.
I haven't laughed that hard in
And you weren't there until later. We decided.
I wasn't even there.
You weren't even there.
Check in.
So we decided to go to, was it Cheesecake Factory for dinner. So of course all the staff, let's go. And I honestly think he just wanted to go back to his room and
reflect
on the decisions he's made that day.
And so he sent us, and we might well include this too. He sent us a video of, because
while we're at dinner,
Drew said, "How you doing, Boggs?" And he sent a video of himself at the gym, working out that arm. But he's filming himself working out the arm, which was perfect. And I sent her a reply of me working out as well. We'll show that, and then it got kind of weird because I first it was a picture of Magdan and Levi, arms around each other, they're buddies, and at the bar. And then I woke up at 6 a.m. to go back to start working again, and then it's a picture of them in the gym, and I'm like,
they're still together.
This is taking a weird turn.
They're still together. All right. With that, let's go on to PCA events. Registration for Works Reunion Monterey, which is August 16th, is open. I think there's a few slots left for the judged registration, but I'm sure we still have plenty of space for Corral. You did?
Okay.
I'm
coming.
Are you to be judged or?
Yeah.
Ooh, what you bringing? Are you gonna say what you're bringing?
I'm bringing my chiffon white 911 SC.
Wow.
I've seen that car before. That's
I've never taken it to an event.
chiffon white.
Chiffon white.
That's not. Didn't you have another white car you competed with?
I have to think. Yes, I brought my ivory.
That's what it was. Okay, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm
SC
thinking.
It's a newbie to PCA, even though it's been a
I
PCA
can't
for a long
I
time.
can't keep up with what you have.
Yeah, well,
And you were talking
it's
about
all in the family, though.
and
So if
Susie-
I die, you get this stuff. You're
Absolutely.
next of kin.
Absolutely.
Sorry to my real brother.
That is a contract when it's on the podcast. I just want to let you know about that. I want to take this time to recognize the PCA sim racing that's been going on here at Porsche Parade. That room has been going nonstop. It's sold out early on, and the kids and the big kids are enjoying it.
Was it 7 rigs they had?
I don't know.
That's what
I think that
Jim-
includes like the kids rigs, juniors kids rigs. Yeah. So shout out to them. Great job with that. Breaking news. At least it's breaking news for me. I think I've told you that we are going to Treffin at Sea, Alaska. Right now we have crested over 850 attendees, and little did I know, and Manny swears he told me, but Manny's going on the cruise.
I
what
can't
the
believe
heck?
You work in the same office. You think I'd be like Rob Sass?
Why you don't tell me this stuff? Like at some point you should have said I should probably tell.
Maybe you don't listen.
Okay, all right. This is where Loanne would probably say you're correct, but that's pretty big news.
And you know what? Nathan doesn't open emails either.
Depends. It has to say important.
Is that what it is?
or it has, or it has to
it.
be relevant.
I'm going to be like
what
Michael
I'm working
Scott,
on.
911 and everything.
Well, what he didn't tell us, he's actually going on the same boat, but it's not on the PCA part of the cruise. He has another passion. He's really into role play, and he's going in a jousting group.
Yes.
And so
I
he's
want
on
to
that
see
convention.
Dungeons and Dragons.
I want to
the
see
red
what he's
Yes.
going to bring to compete in the flannel competition. I think we've got that going on.
What is the flannel competition?
It's different than your jousting group.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
I do have to say it's much different experience so far going in as a non-VIP. You go as a VIP.
Yeah.
I'm not. So
how long have you been registered?
Since December.
December. It is now freaking June. At any point, you were going to tell me that you were going.
Because I thought you knew already. So I'm going to keep on reminding you that I'm going.
So this
Because he's not on the VIP list. That's why you didn't.
yeah, exactly.
I didn't look at the attendance.
Yeah.
Well, that's really cool. So I'm very happy that you're going to come experience this.
Princess got Manny to spend his own money on one of their cruises.
So you're going to now. Roxanne is coming.
Yes.
Wow, very cool.
Nice.
You're going to love it because
I have,
you
need to know.
Uh-huh.
I already have my list of grievances and suggestions.
Well, then you can forward them to Melanie.
I even told Jeremy. I said that I am preparing a list of
Weren't we
concerns
just
I
talking about turning into the people that we always make fun of?
have. Oh, you know,
We are becoming those
this is a
cranky
unique
old-
opportunity because I've
No, but
never been on a cruise.
But I like it.
and I'm getting to see what a new cruiser would see.
No, absolutely. No, I appreciate that you're taking the time to notice, document, and share how we can make it better. Because as great as all of our events are,
Win needs to be replaced as the admiral of the ship.
There's a bazillion pieces to all of the events that we do, and so the constructive criticism is definitely
this really illustrates back full circle to Parade and how far the Parade Committee has come from even 20 years ago, and getting information. And if you're coming to Parade, there is so much information from Parade 101 to articles that you can really get up to speed much faster than like the cruise.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to see the cruise be able to offer what the Parade does as far as information, because I am not a cruiser, and wow, there's a lot of questions that I haven't given the answers yet.
Well, you know what I'm really excited about? We both went on the very first inaugural cruise.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to 2080. I'm going to stand up in a banquet. I'm going to be the last man standing and say, I've been to 58 traffic cruises.
You're going to be the Bob Rassa of cruises.
So that was the traditional start of our Concours banquet. And for those that are new to coming to Parade, that is an eye-opener. When you see someone, we do stand-up, sit-down. Manny, you want to describe that and how it works?
I'm going to do it at real time like Mark does it. Much to Nathan's. He didn't.
Do we have enough battery for this thing to record 8 hours?
Nathan didn't go to the banquet, so I wanted to make sure he gets the full.
Well, in fairness, the banquet's still going on, so I couldn't be there.
so what happened?
They did a great job.
We got done before 10 o'clock.
Before 10 o'clock.
We lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it's basically. There's people there that have gone over 50 parades.
Yeah.
The highest person is 57, which was my age. So now it's easy to remember. I always wonder every year how many are we going up to here that he's going to count. But 57 parades.
Yeah.
So they start off, and I'll do it really quick. They start off welcoming everyone to parade. They say how many people here is their first time, and you always have about a third of the room raises their hand. And then he says, all right, we need everyone who's their first parade, please stand up. And they stand up, and everyone claps. And he says, now stay standing. Everyone else needs to stand up as well. And he goes, okay, if it's your first parade, sit down. If it's your second parade, sit down. Third, fourth, fifth. And he moves pretty quick until he gets to the 20s, and then he starts to slow down. And you look around, and there's still a ton of people standing up.
A ton of people in the 20s, 25, 30, 40. There's still people standing.
Think about that. 57
parades. Just doing anything.
We got to not eat that fried okra.
Yeah. I know there's no way I'm going to hit that 57 parades, so I'm not even trying it. But I'll tell you what, though, it's
incredibly
interesting,
impressive.
though. A lot of people, we did not have a parade in 2020 because of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And I brought that up, and everyone at the table, I think, had counted 2020. As because it's very easy to go backwards.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So I'm going to tell Mark, you got to remind people that when they do their count,
they got to skip a year.
20 did not count.
Yeah. So we are at the crested over the middle of Parade. We've got the second half. Still a lot of stuff going on. I'm sure our next podcast will kind of fill you in on how the second half of Parade went. But for now, I want to thank you for listening. If you aren't currently a PCA member and own a Porsche, grab that VIN, head over to PCA.org, and get yourself set up with a PCA membership. And if you're looking for the Porsche for your driveway and or garage, you could always call Nathan Merz, but you could also join the test drive program, and we'll unlock a number of resources for you. Remember to follow our podcast Instagram page, see behind-the-scenes photos and videos. Porsche Club Insider, all one word. Send us emails if you like at podcast.org. Also want to give a shout out to our PCA Insider store. If you want to get mug, t-shirts, what else do we have? Mug, t-shirt, and water bottle.
Yeah.
Do that. If you're looking for a PCA Insider decal, send us a note at podcast@pca.org, and we'll send you a couple of decals straight to your house. And with that, until next time, stay safe, and we'll see you down the road.